Parliament it resumes today. Recess is over. MPs all making their way back to Westminster as the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, is reportedly preparing a policy fight back based around health and housing.
Well, it comes amid speculation that the threshold has been reached for a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister. An announcement is expected as early as this afternoon.
Well, joining us now for more on this is Anvar Saryguloy, the head of research at the Conservative think tank Bright Blue. Very good morning to you. Look, none of us can pretend to know what's gone on in terms of the 1922 committee. We just have to wait and see when it comes to that. But what we do know, the Prime Minister's coming out fighting a whole host of new policies being announced today. Last time we did that crime week, it didn't go down very well. The Sue Gray report came out. Do you think that the NHS and some of these protocol announcements and housing announcements might do the trick?
Well, I think what we've been seeing for the last couple of months now is a government which has been very much focused on kind of quite backward-looking policy rather than kind of forward-looking. I mean, for example, with stuff like the imperial measurements, of course, that is something that people have strong feelings about, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether your petrol is measured in litres or gallons. If it is a price, it's rocketing, the price is rocketing, and that's what most people are caring about. So I think that the policy focus is good, but I'd really like to see more forward-looking policy thinking around how the Conservatives can really connect to voters of working age.
Well, that's what the NHS announcements will be today, presumably, and also in terms of the right to buy announcements. Both of them will be hugely popular with the electorate.
Well, yes, certainly. I think there's concern around NHS waiting lists, and of course, people who are currently trying to access GPs or services in hospitals are struggling with that. But I think there needs to be kind of more ambition and forward thinking, really, on policy. I mean, there's both for people on higher incomes, there's the fact that the tax system increasingly puts a burden on taxing people's income from work rather than income from wealth. For those on lower incomes, the housing stuff is not just about housing associations, it's about the poor rental sector and its poor quality, its expense, and its lack of accessibility, and of course there's also the benefit system where the Tories keep being reactive rather than proactive.
Anvar, Carrie and Boris were booed on Friday as they entered St Paul's Cathedral. I think we might have a clip of that, which we're going to play now for you. Into the cathedral, but the paper was saying that, quoting a Tory rebel here, saying that once you've lost the support of the royalists, as a Conservative, there's not much more to go on. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it is quite clear from the polling and from this clip that there is definitely significant difficulties with the current government in how they basically have the extent to which people trust them. And I think quite a significant part of it is just around policy delivery and failure to really be quite proactive in the policies and forward thinking.
Well, let's talk about that polling then. Sunday Times had some fairly terrible numbers. If you are the Prime Minister, they're talking about this upcoming by-election, they think, in Wakefield, which of course was famously taken by the Conservatives. Yes. In 2019 from Labour, where they could lose by as much as 20 points, and not much hope either for Tiverton and Honiton, which is also having a by-election on the same date.
Yes, well, I think it's quite clear that the Conservatives are going to have a tough time in both by-elections. But I think it also comes back to this point about why does a working-age person vote Conservative at this point, given the pressures on their salaries from taxes, given the poor quality of housing that they face, and given the fact that the social security system supports those on the lowest income so poorly.
OK, Anvar Saryguloy, good to get your thoughts this morning, Head of Research at Bright Blue. Thank you very much indeed.